everybody, to another episode of the TPT Podcast, the TPT Podcast, the TPT Podcast. Welcome in, everybody, to another great episode of the TPT Podcast. A lot has happened in the Chiefs Kingdom. And, of course, we're here to break it down from the 49ers to D-Hop to look into the Las Vegas Raiders. As with me, as always, Zach. Zach, how you doing?
I'm chilling. I'm ready to see us play Oakland. I love playing Oakland. It might be my favorite team to play. So
Oakland, Vegas, Los Angeles, Oakland, Vegas, whatever you want to call them. The Chiefs are ready for Raider Week. I was watching some Marty Schottenheimer clips of Raider Week, and it just got me juiced up. Like that Raider hate just like boiled inside of me. And I'm just like, this is what we need. We need that Marty Schottenheimer, just like Raiders hate again. And this is a little bit of like a game for Patrick Mahomes. This will be a great game for Patrick Mahomes to have a good game because let's not forget, there was some Muppets made an appearance in the
yeah,
offseason.
I knew that this day would come and that this would be the perfect time for Mahomes to get his get right game against the team that mocks him despite like they beat us last year pretty bad, but then we killed everyone and won the Super Bowl. So I don't understand what they're going for. And I feel like every Raiders game is either they upset us or we kill them. We never beat the Raiders close. When we beat the Raiders, it's bad. And I think that's what's going to happen this Sunday. But we'll get into all that.
Yeah, again, the Raiders, it's like I think they've won maybe since Andy Reid's been the coach 3 to 4 wins. That's the most in the AFC. So, or maybe besides the Broncos early on, but since 2014, they've had the most wins versus Kansas City. But even then, it's like that's maybe a win every 2 years, 3 years. So I'm pretty confident going up against the Raiders. Um, but the game we kind of need to talk about first is let's go over to the 49ers game real quick. What did you see? What did you like? What didn't you like?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that our defense made Brock Purdy look that bad is
Right.
concerning for everyone else, man. Because we might think Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are better than Brock Purdy, and they are. But typically, a Shanahan-led offense, especially since Brock Purdy has been there, it just looks the easiest. It looks like everyone is wide open and every pass is perfectly accurate. It looks like beautiful football. That was the worst I've ever seen a Shanahan-led offense look. Brock Purdy looked
Right.
just absolutely bamboozled the entire time, and I didn't expect it. I'm a big Brock Purdy guy. I mean, I do think he's a top 7 guy in the league because he's doing things that Jimmy G was not doing. Okay, even though Jimmy G had pretty good stats when he was over there. And so the fact that we were doing that to him is crazy. And the offense, the run game, we scored 4 touchdowns. People are talking about the offense is struggling. I've seen so many stats that shows we are still top 8 offense and we're turning the ball over like crazy. At least Mahomes is.
Yeah.
And so, and special teams looked great. McCole Hardman made probably 4 big plays that game. I was leaving that game feeling so confident.
Yeah, McCole Hardman looked absolutely fantastic. Brock Purdy, they absolutely made it look like a average quarterback. And maybe again, him without weapons, this is kind of the guy he is, but it also could just be Steve Spagnuolo, and that's how good he is. Um, because I've seen a lot of people, a lot of 49ers fans. I have a mailman in my neighborhood. Shout out to mailman. He's a 49ers fan. And him and a bunch of 49ers fans were like, oh, well, we were injured. Excuse me. Hello. You didn't have your top receiver. We didn't have our top receiver. You didn't have your number 2 receiver. We didn't have our number 2 receiver. You didn't have your running back. We don't have our running back. Obviously, we don't have our number 3 receiver. So that's even more. We didn't have Juju Smith-Schuster. So my thing is, like, you see a lot of 49ers making excuses. Like, you had your special team receivers and a rookie receiver and a really good tight end. We had a really good tight end, bunch of rookie receivers, and a guy who we picked up the street 3 weeks ago.
Yep.
So no excuses there, 49ers. You had a healthy defense. We had a healthy defense. So that should have leveled it out. You can say, well, yeah, Brock Purdy's not Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes right now is not playing like Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes right now is playing like Matt Castle, but just being clutch.
Let,
That's
let's
it.
let's slow down. Okay, Jaden, let's slow
No, no,
down.
he played.
Uh,
He has 6 turnovers. He has 6 turnovers and 8 interceptions, but he is being clutch. He is.
no, yeah,
He
he's
is
been clutch,
14,
but
15.
I mean, you would think that if Mahomes was playing so bad and our weapons are so beat up and we've not even had one healthy game since the Baltimore game, you would think that that means our offense wouldn't be good, but our offense is good. So I think, and from the eye test, I see the same thing. Mahomes has two really bad decisions every game that every time lead to an interception. In past years, maybe he would make that throw and it would get dropped or float over everyone's head. They're turning into interceptions right now. That's not going to happen forever.
Mm-hmm.
And on a down to down basis, he looks good. He's accurate. He's taking what the defense gives him. And I think he's playing the worst football of his career for a 6 game stretch
Right.
since 2021. That was bad. We don't talk about that. But he's still playing like a top 5 quarterback. At least that's the way I
Yeah,
see it.
again, to me, it's not necessarily the interceptions. Like you can't predict Juju Smith-Schuster dropping a pass and it perfectly landing in Saunders' hands like a little meatball, and then him just like at the 2 or 3 yard line, like him taking it out of the end zone. But it's the missed throws. That missed throw to McCole Hardman on the and my friend, I'll give him credit. He predicted that beautifully. He's like, "Oh, the play like in the Super Bowl, corn dog route, whatever that play
Okay.
is." And he missed that so
Yeah.
bad. Those are the things I'm talking about. It's the misses. It's not putting the ball in the right place. It's not necessarily the interceptions because how many interceptions have we seen? Like yesterday, a guy fall over. A guy fall over. Like if you take away half of those, he has like 4 or 3 interceptions and then six touchdowns.
Yeah. And also, I mean, you have to think our running backs have 9 touchdowns or 8, and then he has 1 on the ground. So we're still scoring a lot of touchdowns. I mean, what is that? 9 plus 6. That's 15 touchdowns in 6 games. That's good. That is good. That's two
He'd
and a
be
half
leading the
touchdowns a
league.
game, not even counting field goals and defensive scores. And so I just feel like we don't trust our personnel in the red zone right now, and that's why his stats don't look good. I think
Right.
that his stats would be better than last year's if a lot of weird stuff hasn't happened. I think it's going to adjust, and by the end of the year, his stat line I think will look better than it did last year.
100%. And we just recently got help on Tuesday.
Yep.
If you guys want to know what I thought about that more deeply, go check out my last video. I wasn't even able to get the boogers out of my eyes. I literally woke up. It was around 6 something, and I wasn't able to go to work because of some medical stuff. So I looked at the time. I'm like, well, if I don't have to go to work this early, I'm just going to go back to bed. And as soon as I go to put my phone down, I hear da-na-na, da-na-na, D-Hop is traded to the Chiefs. I'm like, well, I'm up now. I'm up and out of bed now. So that was kind of fun. And it was funny because I was kind of, as soon as it happened, I screenshot it. I started posting it on all the social media. And people were like, where are you seeing this? I'm like, Adam Schefter, go to his Twitter. Like, he just did it. I'm like, dude, you're like, or like, did you know before anyone else? I'm like, no, I was on it. I was the first person. Luckily, in my leagues, he was already on teams because I would have been the first guy on the waiver wires picking him up. But I have mixed feelings about this. Some people think it's going to go back to the 2019, 2018 Chiefs offenses down the field, this and the other. I think this is the biggest help in the red zone because we don't have a guy that can get open and create space in the red zone. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, this is going to be a huge help. And it's not just that, it's also the fact that, I mean, over the last 2, even his MVP season, because of our lack of red zone threats, there was a lot of, he doesn't trust throwing to people in tight windows because it feels like every time he does that, it pops up and it gets intercepted or it gets batted
Right.
down. And so D Hop is someone that he knows that D Hop runs a quick hitch or slant, something that Kelsey used to do, but
Yep.
Kelsey's not doing as much. he can just throw it in there and Diablo bite and get it out of the air. There's no error that's going to happen through that. And so I do agree with you. The red zone is the biggest area where he's going to be a use. And Andy Reid said he's going to fill that Juju Rashee Rice role. It's going to be different. Okay. We're not going to throw
Yeah.
it to, he's not going to run one step and get the ball and then try to get upfield because that's not the way to run an offense. He's going to be in that role where he's the primary receiver, but it's going to be a little farther downfield where he can actually utilize his strengths.
Yeah. I like that's my biggest thing is I think he's going to be a move the chains guy. And it's also going to free up Kelsey and other guys. Um, but I still think we do need somebody else to like step up. Like again, if McCole Hardman is going to be that guy, I don't know why they put Sky Moore on the field. I really don't. I think they need a. I think they did because Sky Moore's hurt. They elevated Ross, so that's another guy I'm excited to see in the red zone. Um, so, do you think as we kind of go into the Vegas game or Oakland, or Los Angeles, wherever they play, do you think D Hop is a day one contributor versus the Raiders?
There's no doubt. Okay, because there's no other option. Juju's out, so I mean, luckily we were able to really, turn it up with Kareem Hunt last game. But there's no other option. There's Xavier Worthy, who we know we can only really get the ball on end arounds and some deep balls. And then after that, it's just Kels and Justin Watson, who's done nothing this year, sadly. And so he's going to be a day one contributor. I feel like even though we have such a difficult playbook to understand, or at least people say that within the circles of the league, we are also very good at getting people contributing day one. Remember, Kadarius Toney had probably his best game as a Chief in that first game against Jacksonville, where he had a touchdown
Yeah,
and he had two really big catches. And so I do think there's no choice. He's going to be 7 catch guy this week.
yeah. I think I'll have a big day versus Vegas. I mean, Vegas just doesn't have a lot going on there. And I think again, as we kind of wrap it up, does Patrick Mahomes have a Patrick Mahomes game and kind of has that shit talking and everything else versus the Raiders?
Yes, he does. If there's one team that I'm confident he does it against, it's the Raiders. They did the whole
Stat
thing where he
line?
talked about stat line. He's not going to go for 300 because our defense is not going to need that out of him. He's going to go. He's going to go 277. He's going to have 3 touchdowns. He's going to have 1 pick, 3-1, which would be his best this year because I don't think he's had more than one or probably 2 touchdowns in a game this year. So
Yeah, I absolutely love that. That is so similar. I had 280, 3 touchdowns. I didn't have the pick just because I think really he's just going to play carefree football this game because now that he's like over the turnover mark of touchdowns, but what people don't realize, like say he goes out there and throws 4 touchdowns, he has 10 picks, and that'll bring him within like top 10, top five of touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. He'd be high on the interceptions, but probably after Sunday it would go down. It would probably still be like in the top five or maybe top eight. But I think he does have a good game. He you look at recent histories, he's averaging like 3 to 4 touchdowns versus the Raiders. Not
that's
in his last game.
yeah.
And they were the last team to beat us. So how confident are you in this game? Because they were the last team to beat us.
I'm extremely confident. They are in shambles right now. Okay. I knew this was going to happen when they hired Pierce. Okay. Don't let your players tell you who to hire as a coach, especially when fourth of your roster changes every year. And Pierce had not proven that he could actually sustain being a winning coach. He just had a few good games as an interim, which I feel like any interim coach has a little streak. That's why we had Romeo Cornell as our head coach for 1 year. And then he was horrible. So I'm glad they kept him, but he's not a winning coach. They have a couple winning players, but they got rid of one of them last week. And so I'm extremely confident. It looks like we're going to be 7-0 heading into the game against Tampa Bay.
Absolutely. What is your scoring prediction for this game?
Okay, the last time we scored 30 points in a game was against Oakland last year in the first matchup. I believe that stat's right. I might just be spreading misinformation, but I believe that's right. We're
Scored
gonna put up
28 last
30.
time with no D Hop.
We did 28.
We scored 28. It was 28 18 versus
Oh yeah, last game. Yeah.
49ers.
And so I think we're going to return to scoring 30, which has been about a year, which is crazy for my home team because 30 used to be if you scored 30 in 2018, we're probably losing. So I'm going to say 31-14. They get a garbage time touchdown, but we're up 31-7.
31. What is it?
31-14.
31-14. I'm going to go 27-14. I don't know if we can quite get 30. Um, I just don't know. Like in the second half, I think we're going to be up like 25 or like 24 to like nothing. So I think Andy Reid's just going to be like, okay, like pump the brakes. But I would not be surprised at all if we scored like 34, 35, like at all. Because again, like Patrick Mahomes is going to like, he's going to want to be greedy. Like if it's 4th and 2 and they're in the like red zone, he's going to be like, let's go for it. Especially
Yeah.
if they're up because I don't see them scoring on defense, like at
Oh
all.
no. This defense.
Not
We
at
didn't talk
all.
about the Jalen Watson injury. That sucks. That sucks.
Say it again.
Jalen Watson, the broken leg.
Oh, yeah. So do you think they need to go get a veteran corner?
I believe this is something that we will. Isn't the trade deadline in 2 weeks, November 7th or 11th? It's one of those days. Uh, we need to play a game or two before we see, because we don't know yet. We don't know about Roland Wallace. We don't know is Najee Johnson good enough to take his spot, or is Joshua Williams really bad enough where he can't be in a rotation? I don't know how you
Yeah,
go
he got
from a
burned.
starter
He got
on
burned
a
a couple times.
I don't know how you go from a starter on two Super Bowl teams to not even in a rotation
He's
with
your
a
guy,
weaker
bro.
room.
He's your guy. You need to get him straight
I know I met bro. He was so nice. Now I'm sad. Now
because
he's
he
just
was
a
getting
TikTok
toyed with.
personality. He's just a TikTok personality at this point for the Chiefs. But
Do you have a name out there that you'd like to go get, or do you think that we should just stick and stay?
hey, I'm 96.5 The Fan. I think it was Carrington's show. I heard them shout out Marshawn Lattimore with the Saints. That would be dope because then if Watson's able to come back for the playoffs, then we might have the best DB room in the
Yeah,
league. If we have
yeah.
oh my, that would be
I mean, that would
nasty.
almost guarantee a Super Bowl win.
Basically, that's how it seems. And we would actually,
Yeah,
I mean, we have Connor in the slot now, but I wonder if they do go get a guy and we have Watson back towards the end of the year. I wonder if they're like, okay, McDuffie, go play in the slot again. Lattimore and Watson got out. I don't know how we're gonna do it, but we might go get a guy depending on how this weekend goes.
yeah, absolutely. Guys, let us know if you think the Chiefs should stay with what they got in house, or should they give up another draft pick for another corner? Let us know what you think about D Hop. And you saw our scoring predictions, guys. We both have the Chiefs, of course. I mean, the Chiefs just keep on rolling. It's going to be 7 or 8-0, almost halfway through the season. They win this game versus Oakland. They'll still be Oakland. Uh, just like the A's will always be Oakland. Screw Vegas and all their sports teams. Zach, any last words for Chiefs fans heading into Raider Week?
The same as always. I'm blessed to have this team. It's crazy. And I'm a Thunder fan. So I know you're a Laker fan, that's tough, but I'm a Thunder fan. Yeah, we're eating. You see our defense last night? We
Yeah.
are eating. So yeah, I'm
Chat.
feeling pretty good. And my birthday, I turned 21 yesterday. So hey, life is good.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out Lakers. Shout out OKC. Shout out Chet Holmgren, Graham. We know that a lot of you guys are probably OKC fans out there being in Kansas City. But we'll see you guys next time on the TBT podcast.